Many thanks for your company. We are live on Joy News and also streaming live on the internet via Facebook. Let's settle down for our very first story. Deputy Finance Minister Kweku Kwarteng has called on local and foreign investors not to exploit the current tax exemption regime. There's been some concerns that government is being shortchanged by foreign firms that apply for tax exemptions. At the second CEO's breakfast meeting, Kweku Kwarteng stated that some new provisions will be made to deal with the menace.
Will by the end of 2019 present to Parliament a new tax exemption bill which will seek to scrutinize all exemptions granted with the aim of saving the state from losing revenues due it. Speaking to Joy Business at the sideline of the second CEO's breakfast meeting, Deputy Finance Minister Kweku Kwarteng gave more details on this move.
Exemptions, if not checked as a policy, becomes a drain on government revenue, in which case government will not have enough money to keep stable fiscals, with a result that inflation drops, the exchange rate deteriorates, and it goes back to hurt business. So I think on this there are no real disputes.
Partner and Director of Tax Services at PricewaterhouseCoopers, Abeku Jan Kwanta, has been explaining to Joy Business the need for more prudence and value for money in Ghana's tax exemption regime.
We should be asking ourselves as a society is whether after 24 years we need to keep it in the form in which it was passed 24 years ago. So if government says there ought to be some modification, then I do agree that there should be some modification, but only after convincing the public that there are indeed reasons for those modifications. So if you would recall, I did say during the presentation that, look, if you keep mentioning the fact that exemptions are a problem, mind you don't just grant those exemptions without having some expectations.
The CEO's breakfast meeting was themed assessing the tax exemptions regime in Ghana.
Let's move on to this other story making headlines. President Akufo-Addo earlier this week launched the Rearing for Food and Jobs program in the Upper West region. He said under the 5-year project, 40,500 small ruminants, 38,000 pigs, and over 600,000 guinea fowls would be distributed to existing and prospective livestock farmers throughout the country. Let's have a recap of the story by Joy News Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam. All right, so we've been having some reactions to this particular story, which we'll play later in the course of the bulletin. But some livestock farmers are urging government to support livestock farmers, to support them with foreign breeds to enhance demand on the local market. The call follows government's decision to distribute livestock to farmers in various regions under the newly launched Rearing for Food and Jobs. Joy Business's Fred Duho was at the North Industrial Area in Accra to find out what the livestock initiative means for them.
We are here to assess for ourselves how the market is moving for the livestock industry. Recently, just less than a week ago, the president launched the Rearing for Food and Job. After the Planting for Food and Job that is on course, the Rearing for Food and Job, where livestock are to be reared for the Ghanaian market.
The market here now this year is not good. Even your people used to come and buy stuff. This year we don't see them even once. The market, we just come and see them, then we go house. Nothing. The market is bad. It's very, very bad.
Where do you get this particular news?
We get it from Burkina Faso.
Why Burkina Faso?
Burkina Faso, because this is what we are buying there. Formerly, you see from Boko, the animals is there. But because of the fighting for Boko side, so they don't get animals there. So the land here, if you read it, it will be good. If we are serious here, Ghana here, the land God gives us is good. If you read it, we can promise. We are spending money to go and buy from Burkina all these things. It can't be. We can get it here. Because the animals here, even here, we are selling sheep. We used to rear them here. They are making fine. The market is used to change. Okay. If you break, even somebody, if you go there, they don't sell even one. They are selling group, over 60. Then they give you one price. Okay. Small and big one, or the one price, and then the one price. Okay. So that if you change the money, you go there, maybe 1 million CFA, maybe you can get the animals or 60, sometimes 40 or 60, you can get 1 million CFA.
So far, you have good animals in the market. You are selling them. Where did you get these particular animals from?
We have been buying them from Burkina.
Why Why Burkina Faso?
Because Burkina, they have the foreign one, the long ones. We don't have the long ones. We have local ones in Ghana here.
The president just launched the rearing for food and jobs. Won't it be prudent enough for us to rear these animals right here in Ghana?
Ghana, the food that we buy in Ghana here is very expensive. The medicine that you buy is very expensive, and you cannot get enough space to keep them here. If you want to rear them in Ghana, still you have to go to Burkina and buy the Burkina one to come and rear them in Ghana. Because the Ghana one are local one, they are the short one.
Is it the case that you don't have markets for the local ones? Or what?
No, we don't have market for the local ones. And you look at the market, they are not buying anything. There is no even market. If you have we have nice one, look at them, but still they are not buying. When you get Ghana one, these short ones, who will buy?
What can we do to make sure the prices come down?
The government have to check on the foreign currency. That's the problem, because you use a lot of Ghana cedis and change more safer.
Let's forget about the foreign market. You are taking it from Burkina Faso. Now they have launched a rearing for food and job. We want to now rear the animals right here in Ghana. What must we do to support the initiative of the president?
Unless the government come to our aid.
In what sense?
Such as we need money to buy the animals, and he have to support us. He's in North supporting them at North, and he's not supporting us in Accra.
The North obviously looks like the rearing ground for these animals. So if they support those in the North, certainly you go to the North, buy it at a lesser price.
The way you are seeing is different from any work that you are seeing. Animals business are different.
Tell me, how is animal business?
We the ones in Accra. We are the people that we are holding the market. We are the dealers. So if you do not help us, then you help the northern people. It cannot work.
So that's what the sellers of livestock are saying or are reacting to the launch of the rearing for food and jobs. Let's get back to our earlier story and recap what the president has been saying exactly with regards to the launch of the initiative.
President Akufo-Addo disclosed under the Rearing for Food and Job program, government will procure breeding animals, including sheep, goats, cows, pigs, and poultry at subsidized prices.
In the 5-year period of the RFJ campaign, it is projected the 40,500 small ruminants, mainly sheep and goats, 38,000 pigs, 258,000 cockroaches, and over 660,000 guinea fowls will be distributed to livestock farmers and would-be farmers throughout the country. Furthermore, 3,000 cattle farmers will benefit from a program of artificial insemination to increase average meat production.
He said various strategies and interventions have been outlined due to the important role played by the livestock sector in reducing rural poverty despite its neglect for long.
Farmers who receive sheep or goat shall pay back in kind, with 2 offsprings per adult breeder supplied. And farmers who receive breeding pigs shall pay back in kind, with 3 piglets for each breeding pig supplied. Cockerels will be supplied to farmers at 50% of the market value. Day-old chicks and guinea fowl keats will be supplied at 50% subsidy to farmers, with farmer capacity not exceeding 2,000 birds. Cattle farmers shall benefit from subsidized imported semen to improve the meat and milk performance of their cattle.
Food and Agriculture Minister Dr. Osuafri Akoto spoke on the reason why WA was chosen for the launch of the program.
We at the ministry are excited and optimistic about today's occasion because of the high interest it has already generated among livestock farmers, traders, butchers, processors, and other stakeholders. The immediate objectives of RFJ are self-sufficiency in meat and milk production, reducing the importation of these products, promoting exports, and establishing a solid raw material base for industrialization and value addition.
Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali observed that the launch.
Let's turn attention away from agriculture to the financial sector. Half of savings and loans companies could be closed down in the planned cleanup exercise of that sector by the Bank of Ghana. This is what we've picked up from close sources within the financial sector. There's more in this report.
Joy Business is learning that the reforms will be carried out in a similar way that the Bank of Ghana cleaned up the banking sector. Sources say it would only affect firms that are said to be in serious liquidity crisis, having serious corporate governance issues, and that the operations are said to be a threat to the entire industry. Already, one of the firms that could be affected has gone voluntarily due to its inability to survive as a result of some serious liquidity challenges. But the Executive Secretary of the Association of Savings and Loans Companies, Chinebua Kojiabuache, is assuring customers not to panic. This is because the cleanup will not affect firms in good standing, maintaining that their funds are safe.
A lot of our members are in good standing. And to be honest with you, the data available to us suggests that the institutions who will not be affected serve more than 80% of the depositors. And so if an institution is affected, and for that matter the government is making money available for them, it's good news. One critical thing in this whole equation has to do with a company declared as insolvent. If the company is declared insolvent, it has to do a whole lot of reasons. One of them is that your asset has been impaired, which made you insolvent. Now, one of the groups of institutions who have been seen as insolvent, it's no creation of theirs. It's because they made placements or investments in certain institutions who are not operating. And so because they are not operating, it has affected a savings and loans company.
There are currently about 38 savings and loans companies in the country. This should mean that about 19 firms could go down after the final audit. According to the Finance Minister, Ken Oforiatta, the planned exercise by the Bank of Ghana could happen before September this year.
Now, the receiver appointed by the Bank of Ghana to handle the defunct Beige Bank's liquidation is now going after personal assets of former owner Michael Nyeneku. This was after Miyamano Dodu filed an application at the High Court earlier in the week. George Rafi has more.
Mr. Dodu, through his lawyers, is asking the court to take over the residential property of Mr. Nyeneku at Trasacco and the Beige Group head office, all located at East Legon here in Accra, as well as other properties that were purchased with the funds of the bank. The receiver is also asking the court to help him retrieve a little over 1.2 billion Ghana cedis owed the defunct bank by suing Mr. Nyeneku as well as 12 other subsidiaries under the Beige Group. The application argues that Mr. Nyeneku breached his duties as director of the defunct bank and therefore he is liable for all the bank's losses. The receiver is also asking the court to let Mr. Nyeneku return everything that is secured as a result of transactions from these properties. An injunction is also being sought to stop all the shareholders and former directors in possession of these assets from disposing them as well. It appears the receiver is moving fast to recover funds that have been sunk in by government to help with the liquidation of the bank. Government has already spent about 15 billion Ghana cedis and is projected to hit 18 billion Ghana cedis by the end of this year. The receiver for UT and Capital Banks recently noted that he's having some challenges in recovering all the assets of these former directors, as most of them were not registered in their name.
And so staying within the financial sector, Enterprise Group has downplayed speculations of acquiring banks as a growth strategy. At the company's annual general meeting here in Accra, Group CEO Kelly Gajipo told Joy Business the company is strictly focused on growing organically.
Group CEO of Enterprise Group Limited, Kelly Gajekpo, tells Joy Business they are focused on growing organically and not fixed on acquiring assets and buying banks. Speaking to Joy Business at the company's annual general meeting, Kelly Gajekpo reveals that the group will rather be expanding onto the Nigerian market.
Depending on the opportunity, we will look at it. But it doesn't mean we are aggressive. The ones we are pursuing aggressively as what I've spoken about, health insurance and going into the Nigerian market. But if there is a bank available, will we look at it? As a matter of prudence, I think even my shareholders will query me if I don't at least look at it before I say yes or no. So that's what the point I'm trying to make is that we are in a financial services business. If there's an opportunity and it looks good, we'll look at it. But we're not in the business of buying banks.
Shareholders of Enterprise Group will be receiving a final dividend of 4.5 pesos per share for 2018. This was agreed by the board of the group after growing a net income of 12% as against 28% in 2017.
On consideration of the group's performance and the directors' confidence in future prospects, the board is now proposing a final dividend of Ghana cedis 0.045 per share for 2018.
The Enterprise Group recorded a profits before tax of 96.6 million cedis from 90.4 million cedis, representing a 6.9% growth. Also, total assets increased by 30% from 1,000 million cedis from 1 million cedis in 2017 to 1.3 in 2018.
And the Ministry of Trade and Industry is assuring micro, small-scale businesses and entrepreneurs in Ghana the full support of government as it implements the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Director at the Multilateral and Regional Trade at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mixon Opoku, made the disclosure after addressing some entrepreneurs at the Stakeholders Forum on the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement organized here in Accra. Here's Ebenezer Sabuti's report.
With less than a month to the implementation of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, small and medium-scale enterprises are positioning themselves to reap the full benefits. According to a director at the Multilateral and Regional Trade Department of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, government is prepared to provide all the necessary support for micro businesses to penetrate the other African markets. The support includes development of flexible capital schemes and an establishment of a regulatory body to manage operations of all micro, small and medium enterprises to have better understanding of the various trade conventions in the agreement.
It is very obvious that we have a lot of institutions doing different things which are all linked to SME development. But we need to have a policy that is national in character to support all the institutions. So that becomes the barometer to measure that we have this list of institutions, this is the problems they have, and if government want to assist them, they are looking at the policy and what they are going to administer is not going to affect only a section of the industry or sectors. It would have accommodated all the MSME sector, and then we will define how we should progressively address the issues.
Today's forum coincided with the celebration of Micro, Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises Day, earmarked to highlight issues affecting the sector. Enes Gavon is Executive Director of the Engine Business Network.
A United Nations designated day to celebrate and create conversations around MSMEs, because the MSMEs form 90% of businesses globally. And in Ghana too, the statistics are about the same. They employ the most number of people, but MSMEs have a lot of challenges which need to be addressed. So on a day like this, we at Engine Business were thought it wise to have an event where we discuss pertinent issues around SMEs. And coincidentally, the African Free Continental Trade Area is topical. It's just about being launched on the 7th. The market has been about being launched on the 7th of July. So we thought it's wise to have a discussion around AFTAC. So that was what exactly happened today.
Ghana is the second country to ratify the agreement after it was signed in 2018 by the African Union.
Now, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, says it is in talks with investors from the EU to increase Ghana's export to the European market. This is part of initiatives by the association to expand its business operations on the back of the Interim Economic Partnership Agreement with the EU. President of the AGI, Dujanfi, has been speaking to Joy Business about the partnership and other agreements, including the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Relationship and our consents from our partnership with the EPA agreement. Well, we are basically saying that if we are not careful and we create the opportunity just for EU to bring their products here without us having enough to export back, we have a lot to lose. So rather, we are looking for partnership of EU companies coming to partner local companies to establish factories locally so that we will be able to increase our productivity and be able to export. So it's a lot going on, and we hope that at the end of it, before the implementation of this EPA, local companies will have a benefit to it.
And I know the EU is also partnering with you on some other projects. I don't know if there's some in the pipeline that you can mention to us.
The other project that we are working with the EU is supporting local companies to grow in terms of technical skill, in terms of making available credit, because that's one of the things I've been emphasizing. We need to have credit facility with concessionary loans from their banks to our local banks so that we can assess. If we're able to do that, there's a lot that Ghanaian companies start to gain, and we are working diligently on it.
What about the Continental Free Trade Agreement? Are we ready for it?
Continental Free Trade is another thing to talk about. As you know, that after today, Nigeria, even being the biggest market, have not signed or ratified it. We need to look at it. Even though Ghana is looking for the Secretariat to come here, I think at the end of it all, if we do not increase our productivity so that we can have products to export, we stand to lose. So at the same time, on the same level, we are still having government negotiations and talking to see how we can, of course, use this Continental Free Trade Agreement to better help export our products outside Ghana to African countries. So we are working on it.
What do you make of Ghana putting in the bid to host the Secretariat?
Well, hosting the Secretariat doesn't really guarantee you the market. It's just a matter of, and it's not even, the Secretariat is not going to be made up of only just Africans. It's just going to be one of the AU Secretariat. So it's really not going to bring us any benefits. What we are more important.
You think it will not bring business to the country?
How? It doesn't. Secretariat doesn't bring, rather you bring people here, but even though it can be, they are not going to spend their tax money here with you. So
now, some insurance sector players who are also members of the Association of Ghana Industries are lauding the increase in the sector's minimum capital requirement. They say it will help the payment of policyholders' claims on time. After a series of stakeholder consultations, the National Insurance Commission announced over 200% increase to complement government's efforts at strengthening the financial sector. They shared these thoughts in the UK, where the AGI is currently exploring ways to attract UK investors into the country.
I think the commission, that is the insurance commission, is in there to protect the interests of policyholders. With this thing coming on board, what it means is that policyholders' claims will be paid on time. We as a company, the board has already met over this issue, and then decision has been taken. Shareholders are willing to pump in money to meet the capitalization, and we are hoping by end of December 2019, Syrian Insurance will be fully capitalized to do business in Ghana.
The money is available, and all the processes are being put in place, and the shareholders will also have to pass a resolution within the next 2 months, and the funds will be released to the Syrian Insurance to capitalize to the 50 million as required by the regulator.
And that will be it for Business Live tonight. Thank you so much for keeping company with me today. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. We are for the small business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business and making headlines. There is the Beige Bank receiver for the Beige Bank sues ex-CEO and goes over for its assets. Many thanks for watching. Have a good evening.